ladies and gentlemen, we just got a fresh new trailer for the Dust Devils Warbond. And I'm going to say it right now, guys. This Warbond actually has potential to be one of the better Warbonds. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the trailer for all the people that haven't seen it yet. And if you have seen it and you want to skip it, there's going to be a timestamp so you can go directly to the in-depth breakdown, right? So let's get started here. This is actually pretty cool, bro. I'm excited for this one. First frames, we get a Valtine. I'm going to glimpse at the silo. We're going to talk about all of this in detail. Don't worry. Don't worry. Armor, AR. This right here is a little bit too much running around for me personally. I would love to see more action, you know? Get some more info. We're going to talk about the AR as well, obviously. And remember, with this one, we have 3 stratagems, guys. Get some new footage for these stratagems as well, so it's going to be exciting to break all of this down for you guys. Another visual stuff here when it comes to the skins. And this is the first time we see the grenade. We're going to break down the grenade as well. And boom. Okay. There it is. This comes out on September 4th, which means that we're getting tons of new content on Tuesday. And then we're getting this Warbond 2 days later. I'm going to be testing all of this live on stream, so make sure to be there. Now, let's go back here and let's break all of this down. So in the first few frames, we see the Bal Titan here, which looks to be a full HP Titan that has not taken any damage, and he gets one shot by the silo, right? Which is pretty cool. And depending on that, how that silo is gonna perform in general and what the cooldown is gonna be, because that's gonna be the main question. What is gonna be the cooldown on this thing? Because on paper, this looks incredible, right? You have something that you can literally take out probably most targets from far, far away by just marking it, and that will give you the ability to essentially not put yourself in harm's way. Now, once again, the main 2 things is the damage on the cooldown. So all of that will have to be tested, and mainly it's, for me, is going to be the cooldown, right? Because it is a blue stratagem slot, and the only thing where I can see it very valuable is going to be the bots if you're trying to destroy jammers or whatever it is from far away and essentially do some stuff that the ultimatum is no longer able to do. That's going to be the value. But how many times do you run into those things in this game, right? And keep in mind, we're discussing all of this from the perspective of maximum difficulty. So there's a lot of questions to be answered here. However, I do think that this has a potential to be very strong. I would say that this has the potential to be S tier, depending on the damage and depending on the cooldown that it is going to have, okay? So let's continue here. Then we have the armor. Obviously, visually, the armor in this game is a lot of the times pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. But when it comes to the stats, they're pretty useless 90% of the time, okay? And we're going to have to, and I don't know exactly if it is in the blog post. I'm going to have to look that up here. But first, I want to focus on the other stuff because it's more interesting to me personally, because my expectation for armor perks is not that high. Now, as we're getting to the AR, I want you guys to know that it has already been confirmed by the devs that this is going to be medium armor pen, bro. So not only does it have incendiary ammo, but it is medium armor pen. This absolutely changes everything, and in my opinion, it makes this one of the best ARs in the game. Now, depending on the damage, which I don't have any info about, if you guys have any info, please let me know in the comment section. If this AR has anything above 70 damage with incendiary and medium penetration, this is going to be an S tier gun, right? I can tell you right now, the recoil looks pretty good on this. I don't think it's going to be a big issue. On top of that, it should have weapon customization as well. This is gonna be easily the best AR in the game, man. And I am extremely, and I mean extremely excited to try this out. Finally, guys, after so long, we get a good AR in this game. That is so huge, man. absolute game changer. And for all the people that are going to be asking, Pip, how do you know this? Baskinator confirmed it in the Discord that this weapon is going to be medium pen. Huge. Like, we had a lot of talks about this. It's going to be light, med. Everybody was expecting light pen because, you know, we're used to having these kind of light pen weapons in these war bonds. That is not going to be the case for this specific gun with incendiary ammo. And just imagine how good this is going to be with a gas rover, or imagine how good this is going to be with some of the other items in the game because of how good fire is. The fact that you can put like Bile Titans on fire, bro, and they will burn out from tick damage, especially if they've taken some damage already, is incredible. Imagine how easy it is going to be to take care of the Shriekers. And I think this weapon is also going to be very good against the bots as well, as long as the damage is above 70 or around that. I don't want it to be below 70. I think this is going to be an S tier gun, hands down. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. The next few stratagems I'm very hyped for, specifically the spear gun. The spear gun visually looks absolutely incredible, and I'm really interested on how it's going to perform, bro. Now, you guys see that the radius of the gas is pretty decent. I'm not going to lie. I'm happy about this, right? It could be way worse. Another thing is that we're getting new missions where this spear gun could absolutely thrive. And I'm going to be making a bunch of content for the upcoming, you know, new enemies and cave missions and whatever. So stay tuned for that. But so far, I really like what I see. Another cool thing you will notice here, actually, it's not in this trailer, but in the other one, you see him reload the spear gun while he's standing. So you can reload these things on the go as well, which is a huge factor. And the CC in general against the bugs is S tier all around. So you're not going to have issues. Now, the question is going to be, how powerful is it? Does it, like, hit chargers? Does it confuse them easily, right? Because that's another crazy thing. Imagine you have a weapon, you can just tag a charger and you forget about him for a little bit. It essentially does what the grenade does, but while dealing damage. That would be incredible, right? We're going to have to test this against the bigger targets as well. But this is another item that I do think has the potential to be S tier against the bugs, right? Now, I don't know. We have no info how this looks against the bots. So I'm not going to, you know, throw out any kind of ideas about that. But when it comes to bugs, gas is always very powerful. And this is a combination of gas and damage. So that's pretty cool. Also, you see him like shoot the ground here. Why is he not shooting the targets directly? A lot of testing to be done when this WARBOND drops, but I'm very hyped for this item. Then we have the expendable napalm. Now, this one I don't think is going to be S tier. I just don't see it, right? You can see that it's almost like a scatter grenade. And it just spreads fire, right? Which is pretty cool. It actually looks like the airburst rocket, right? But leaving fire on the ground. Which, listen, it's a blue stratagem. That's a tough spot to give up. It has to carry its weight. And I still think the normal expendable is going to be more valuable. I would assume it's going to have the same cooldown as the normal expendable. And in that case, the normal one can just quick tap very strong targets. And when I want ad clear, I'm better off with fire weapons because I can just spread fire on the ground or use some of the fire, for example, grenades even. Or I can just use the gas grenades when it comes to crowd control if that's what I want. Because this isn't like necessarily exactly crowd control tool, but it does spread fire. And all I'm trying to say is there's better ways to do that, okay? Then we have the silo. As I said, another tool that could be S tier. We kind of already went over this. You can see this footage here where a charger gets absolutely annihilated. Now, that's not a surprise because we already saw Bile Titan get absolutely cooked out of his mind. And then we see some of the skins and whatnot. And finally, right here, we get a look at the grenade. Now, this is the first time we see the grenade or anything about the grenade. And I'm gonna call this right now, guys. I don't think this looks good. This looks like another explosive / scatter grenade. Boom, 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 boom. Like all around, like small explosions. But like, think about it yourself. Why am I running this? Why am I running this? The G7 pineapple grenade against the bugs when there is gas grenades? Why am I running this against the bots when I have thermites and pyros? Why am I running this? Actually, maybe against the illuminates you can make use of this, but I do believe against the illuminates, dude, some of the fire grenades are awesome. The gas works as well, and there's just better options across the board. So unless we're missing something here, right? Like, you can't really tell a lot from these. Again, they're throwing it at hunters and like the pouncers. Most of the footage, that's what we get. So maybe deals massive damage or something to the chargers. We don't know. Overall, for the Warbond, guys, I do think this Warbond has the potential to be one of the better Warbonds, as I stated at the beginning. Now, why do I think that? Well, first of all, it has three stratagems. And I do believe that Warbonds that have more stratagems always tend to be more interesting, because stratagems shake up the meta a lot, especially in a game where devs don't necessarily add the best primary weapons, and they're almost always on the weaker side. Now, as I said, this AR could be an exception to the rule, which I'm hoping it is, highly hoping. But even if not, some of the stratagems look very interesting to me. So I'm hyped. Like, when I watched the ODST trailer, it was like all of them, and we quickly already knew that some of them, they confirmed right away that some of the weapons were, most of the weapons were light pens. So I was like, okay, yeah, okay. And you probably have seen my full breakdown on the Warbond. I don't think it's the greatest Warbond when it comes to performance. However, this one, I'm way more hyped for. And I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about the spear gun, the grenade, the primary, essentially all of the tools in here. Because, yeah, just a few days away, man. New enemies, new Warbond, back-to-back second one. I'm excited. I would love to hear your thoughts. And once again, make sure to be there as we test all of these things together live on stream.